Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 240. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
And wow, look at what you've done with the place. Finally, we have an inside shot. You've been working off your patio the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, I thought being outside of my castle made more sense. So now I thought I'd touch on something inside.
I like it. Your two roommates are creepy looking, but whatever.
They're very creepy, especially the one on the right with the big head.
Yeah, very big head. Yes. It's as if he's on the last button of a snapback.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Basically.
So.
I don't know. I thought a little throwback would be fun this week.
No, absolutely. Episode 240, and we'll just say right off the bat, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Larry.
Yes.
5 years since we've made the mistake of deciding that people wanted to listen to us on Facebook.
5 years to be a podcast. It's been a long time.
This is of regular podcasting.
Regular, yes. We're going to dip into that a little bit later because if we know what to do, it's toot our own horns. So we will be able to do that a little bit later in the episode.
One of us knows that, yes.
Oh, heartbeat, I will, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get to that, we have some other stuff to go over. Yes. And right off the bat, let's get right into this because we apparently, well, I guess not we, I made some waves last week.
Well, you started trouble because you said something you shouldn't have said.
Some of which in my favor, actually. And we have here, I pulled just a handful of the millions of responses.
Let's rewind a little bit and explain to everybody what we're talking about. So
go ahead.
Last week, Larry decided to announce to the world publicly, in his own, making a mistake as always, that he does not like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Well, it's not as much as I don't like it. I've gone on record saying it is a terrible game.
Yes.
Like, the game itself is terrible.
Well, I was trying to soften
I have expressed
because just saying that it's a terrible game really is just video game suicide at this point. But anyway,
if I know nothing else but burning bridges.
Yes, that's
so.
True. And you've got the kindling on my bridge right now. Tread carefully.
Again, the game is gorgeous. It looks beautiful. It's an amazing series. I'm not knocking the series, The Legend of Zelda. I'm just knocking Breath of the Wild. And you can go back and listen to episode 239 because a lot of my fuel got burnt out by the end of that epised because it was up.
Link disagrees with you.
Well, Link was. I don't know. Link doesn't. Wait. If you hold him right, his head gets replaced. Nope. Back him up a little bit. How dare you, Link? How dare you? I will sue you for everything you're worth.
And he will scratch your eyes out.
Kitty litter and all.
Insulting his namesake. How dare you?
So what I mentioned, with the weapon system. Mostly it was a weapon system, and Anthony made some good points on his end as well, talking about the creativity and keeping it fresh and new, and being immersive into the game. And I gotta say though, first of all, with my editorial last week, we did get a lot of responses. Probably the responses that we've got to something that we've done here, which is good. It means people are listening. And I pulled a handful. Of responses. Yes, most of which, because I pulled them, most of which are on my side. And
funny how that happens.
Well, because I completely understand that it's an unpopular opinion. I get it, and not a lot of people are going to agree with me, but some people did, and that's what I want to go over real quick. Well, here, and I'll give you the benefit. We did get an email that was on your side. Nathan.
Yes. Thank you, Nathan.
Nathan wrote to us just simply saying, I would just like to say that I strongly disagree with Larry on his Breath of the Wild opinion. That's all. Short, to the point. Just right there. Wrong-o.
Yeah, and you know what? That's all you really need to say, because there's nothing else to say about Breath of the Wild because all of the reviews and articles and things like that that have come out for it have shown nothing but praise.
And again, I've gone on record because you were mentioning Metacritic last week, and
Yeah.
I don't care what the critics say. I want to know what the players think, and a lot of the players agree with you, Ant. I get that.
Yes, I understand that, but do you realize that critics are players?
They get paid. It's not. Please, they're just like movie critics and music critics.
Oh, jeez.
It's about the player. That's who I want to hear from. I want to hear from the player, not someone paid to write
So
something.
Larry's going on record by saying critics aren't players. Got it.
No, honestly, I don't think so. At least not serious players. And
That'd be great when we have to have critics review our show eventually.
who are these podcasts? Waiting for them to pick us up.
There goes another bridge.
And you're not a gamer just by playing Fortnite 9 hours a night. Okay, I'm sorry, that does not make you a gamer. In any event, so let's go through some of the DMs here. I got a couple of Instagram DMs that came through. And of course, obviously, Ant would like to get your opinion, or responses, if you will, because again, they're mostly on my side. Cinnamon X Life wrote, "I agree with Larry. Breath of the Wild is trash compared to other Zelda titles." These are direct quotes. I'm not editing these. "Wasn't a fan of it. My favorite is Majora's Mask, which is a love or hate game also, then Ocarina of Time." What do you think about that?
What I find interesting about that player is that their favorite game is one that went in a bold and different direction from the Legend of Zelda series, so to speak. When you look at Majora's Mask and the way that it runs, and yet Breath of the Wild, which also took a very bold approach in becoming the first real open world Zelda game, they would hate. So I'm not so sure about that one. I wouldn't trust that person's opinion. By the way,
Cinnamon. Yeah.
Thank you for the opinion.
Thank you for the response.
Yes.
No, of course.
We appreciate everybody.
We do. We're gonna have.
We're always going to get.
We're gonna have some.
Yeah, there are going to be disagreements. In this case,
not of that.
In this case, it's just plain wrong. I do agree that Majora's Mask is an excellent game.
This is where Cinnamon X Life goes, and we're gonna have fun with some of these. We love you all. Trust me. He had me in the beginning. Wasn't a fan of Breath of the Wild, but then he had to go and say his favorite was Majora's Mask, which is like my absolute least favorite game in the entire Zelda series. So, but he is right though. Majora's Mask is polarizing.
It's very polarizing.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is not polarizing.
Breath of the Wild is trash.
For every game out there that is considered excellent, you will always have some naysayers. In this case, the naysayers will be in the minority because the majority of the people that have played Breath of the Wild have said it's excellent.
Underscore no Juan cares. Love that name. Says
Love it.
Just want what?
I love his name.
I do, yeah. Underscore no Juan cares. Just wanted to say that I agree with Larry. Breath of the Wild is not a great game like everyone says. It does look gorgeous though. Also, I'm not a big fan of Ocarina of Time.
No.
My favorite Zelda game is A Link to the Past. Also love the OG Zelda. What was that?
I said that's fair.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Also love the OG Zelda and Oracle of Seasons. I'm telling you this. Well, you've played it. Seasons is amazing. No, you play Seasons or Ages?
Yes. Or Ages, I think. I'm on Ages.
I just beat Link's Awakening a couple weeks ago. It was also great too. Maybe I just enjoy Zelda games in 2D, which I can hear you on that one. Played Game Boy Color versions. All right, now I'm kind of skipping through. Try playing the Switch version of Link's Awakening. Notice a frame drop. He digs deep into here. I didn't like the experience, so I stopped playing it. Too bad because I really like the artwork. I hope they did an update on the game and fix that problem. So no one cares. He's leaning towards the 2D games, which you can't really argue him on that overall. I prefer 2D games like that. They've all been fairly hits.
Yes.
Maybe
Zelda
except for
2, the
Link's Awakening. Zelda 2, I was going to say, maybe not that one.
As I say.
But,
and there's, look, there's with franchises, there's always kind of there's always kind of a thing of like when they transition from one to another. So in other words, like, from 2D to 3D, sometimes it's a bigger leap than people are willing to take. And to them, it loses out on the whatever it is that appeals to them for the game.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if you were to pick, you know, just to switch for a second, if you were to pick Mario, would you prefer the 2D or the 3D Mario in terms of gaming? Where do you fall?
True.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I can say undoubtedly 2D, even though a couple 3D games are fantastic. But I would definitely always prefer a 2D game. But again, that's us, and that's probably our age and our what we're used to.
Old, yes.
This is true.
Thank you.
Super nostalgic wrote, and this because Ant, you made a point last week when you were talking about kind of like how with the cooking and the not building, but there was a lot of aspects of Breath of the Wild that's almost not lifelike, but you kind of related it to The Sims.
A little Sims.
Because you mentioned like if I played The Sims. Yeah, little Sims like. So super nostalgic, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure if he's leaning towards my opinion or your opinion. But he wrote, if they released a new Sims game that replaced the eating, showering, sleeping, and other real-life game mechanics with weird WarioWare-style minigames, would you praise it as the best Sims game ever, or would you be disappointed that they changed the formula, even if it was still a good game for what it was? So it's a good question. I don't know whose side he's on, but it's a good question. But with that, I think you're changing the formula of The Sims, and it becomes something completely different. So I don't know if you can compare it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like something like that to me, I would almost consider it a different game. You know, because the Sims is synonymous with you control a character living their everyday life. If you replace it with you control a character playing a bunch of mini games, that's not The Sims to me. It's the if I can equate it to movie franchises, because I do this so often. It's Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. It's hey, we're under the same banner, but all the what from the first two movies isn't in this movie at all, and that's what it would feel like to me. So
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm not saying the game. But here's the other thing: I'm not saying the game would be bad. It could be a great game, just like Halloween 3. I thought was a really great movie. It just didn't fit under that title or banner.
Gotcha. All right, I can see that.
That is
and then the final.
I am running for Congress.
Or I'll tell you like it is.
Yeah, you're not running.
At your soul, Anthony, to be honest with you. So
that's very
and
true.
Then I got too many skeletons in my closet. And then finally from YouTube, what I pulled here, Josh J. Hutton, screen name on YouTube. I've played through Breath of the Wild 3 times.
Wow.
I agree with Larry. The weapon system just sucks. Sometimes I will die in battle because I don't want to use my best weapon for fear that it will break. So I use a weaker weapon and die. If only they had a way to repair weapons before they break completely. Now that would have been cool. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Maybe that would be a little bit of a game changer.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, that's something that's like a simple mod that can be done. And I understand. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I played through it, I had the same issue. It's like I would save the more powerful swords and weapons because, I wanted to make sure that I used them in meaningful battles. But when I got to a meaningful battle, I wasn't afraid to use them because I knew somewhere around the game, once I got familiar with the areas, I'd be able to pick them up again. So, and that's the other thing too. It's like when you're playing an open world game, becoming familiar with specific areas of the game and knowing what you can pick up there. So I would think that the last one that you just read, he's obviously a fan of the game. He's played through it 3 times. There's just a specific mechanic that didn't work. So then, Larry, like I posed to you, if the weapon issue was a little different
like that,
if in other words, if it was different than just you break a sword and lose it, would it be a better game to you? Like, is that solely why you consider it trash?
A lot of it. The other part is a lot of like with the cooking and manufacturing stuff. But if we're going to focus on the weapons, the only other game in the series of Zelda that I can compare it to is A Link Between Worlds, which is on the 3DS. And there you rented your sub weapons.
Right.
So if you lost your sub weapon, you had to go back and rent it again. Or you can only hold like 2 or 3 at the same time. So you would have to go and swap out, and you can always get it back. So you're always, maybe. Obviously, the game can go 100 different ways if you change one little mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would feel a little bit easier with that because, again, my whole idea was, like in the original one, you find the first sword, which is like a wood sword. All right. Then eventually you find a stronger sword. Then you find a stronger sword. It's just the leveling up. Just make it simple. It's a game. But I don't know. Maybe that would make it a little different, right? Repair weapons before they break completely. Yeah, I can. Actually, it almost happened in Zelda 3 on Super Nintendo. At one point, you bring your sword to a swordsmith to make it stronger. But again, that's more leveling up than anything. So
it's more, it's definitely more leveling up.
But
I mean, what about when you used to play? What if you play the original Legend of Zelda? Remember the guys in the dungeons that would steal your weapon and you couldn't use it for a while?
Oh yeah, your shield, right? No, your sword as well. Yeah,
your sword.
The round things. What they like?
I don't remember the names of them.
I think they were likes. But I do remember them, and they were annoying. I did not like them.
So losing a weapon has been synonymous with Zelda since the beginning.
You got that weapon back after a few moments, though, or after you destroyed them.
Correct.
Because you can't find another sword.
No.
So,
but I just want
nevertheless. Great responses from everyone. Yes, we do appreciate it. We had other responses as well, but I just want to say, again, and we're going to kind of do this almost like viewer mail. We got a couple other questions we're going to go over real quick, not related to Zelda, but I think now would be a good time to kind of mention that me and Ant, as per a recommendation from also from a friend of ours, we just happened to be talking about this because he was giving me his 2 cents about Breath of the Wild, but I want to speak for him, even though he agreed with me. We're going to do something new. We're going to reach out to you, the fans, unpopular opinions, and I think this might be fun. Basically, in a nutshell, I think so. And I'm not saying to be every week, but when we get submissions, we'll review them. But we want to hear from you, and we want to have you on the show in a way. So make a video, a short video, maybe no more than 3 minutes. We'll heavily edit it. Don't worry. Yeah. But make a video, submit it to us. You can send it through social media. You can email it to us. email@theretrogamers.com. Basically, and it doesn't have to be Zelda. What you have as an unpopular opinion, present it to us. And as an example, because me and Ant have talked about this in the past, I feel that Castlevania 2 is a terrible game.
And I think Castlevania 2 is a great game.
And I've gone on record years ago, and you go back and listen to the history, of me. I was going to say, you know what? I'll complete Castlevania 2 in like 3 weeks in. I'm like, this game is garbage.
And then when I was on one of my trips to Japan, I live streamed and beat Castlevania 2 from my hotel room.
I think you did, yes. So send your submission, send your video. We'll feature you on the podcast with, again, your unpopular opinion about a video game. Again, and defend it. Defend your thesis. And you'll hear from us. We'll give our 2 cents, and you'll hear from the listeners. Because the internet is designed for disagreement. And I think we're going to have a good time with it.
I think so, especially since you disagree with the internet all the time.
Well, a lot of stuff, because it's the internet.
But everything.
So you can start submitting that whenever you'd like, and we'll start featuring that when they start rolling in. So,
and if we don't get any from you, we can always keep the ball rolling next week, because I'm sure Larry and I definitely have some unpopular opinions.
Oh, I'm sure. All my opinions are unpopular.
Oh, there's no question about it.
We got a couple of other emails, like I said, a couple of random emails that we're actually going to throw out here. And again, maybe for those who'd like to comment on social media, respond to the YouTube chat and stuff like that. And you got an email. I don't know if you have it in front of you. If not, I have it here. I can read it. About your kind of like you're moving. So here we go.
Yes.
I don't want to give out his full email, Zenbone, or MOW. Looks like he signed it. So he writes, first of all, just started listening to you on Spotify. Love the show. Happy to know that we're on Spotify. I was a little worried about that. I had a little trouble getting us on Spotify. But we're there.
On Spotify for a long time, though.
When we switched over to Podbean, I didn't think it was hooking up, but apparently it did.
Okay.
So, recently moved from Florida to Wisconsin. Hearing that you, Anthony, just moved, how did your games and game-related stuff fare? My gaming consoles and games took up about a third of a large pod. These giant pod. I don't know if they're all over the country, but you have these, like, you see them like people's yards. It's these giant pods, temporary storage, basically.
Yes.
Currently, the basement is
the country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Currently, the basement is broken down into the pinball arcade area. Yes. Then the rest is a retro game pit with a bunch of moving blankets with the systems and related games and items for that system on them. It is freaking crazy to look at all the stuff. Great going through everything and tightening up the systems and locations, but rough as heck moving across the country with them. Thanks again. Really dig you guys. MOW. He's got spelled like, NWO. I like that. Yes. So, Zenbone, first of all, thank you very much for the email.
Thank you.
Hopefully your move, everything went well. And what, you have a lot of systems. So how have you done this multiple times?
Well, it's obviously packing them correctly. Very important. You want to make sure that they're packed so they're not going to get damaged in the move. I always bubble wrap every system. They all go in separate bins.
Oh, really?
Well, not all separate. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. I put them all in a bin together.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you.
I mean? Like, I bin them. So it's like bubble wrapped in bins, especially since most of my systems are loose. I don't have the original boxes.
True.
For systems that I do have the original box, obviously, put them back in the original box because that would be where they would be safest in travel. The games are the ones that I worry about more because, like, you can't wrap every game, so it's kind of like they just get put in bins together, and then it's really just hoping and praying they get there okay. As Zenbo said, I'm still currently in the middle of my move. I am not done yet, but
okay.
So I'm praying that all of my stuff arrives safely. So far, the last 3 times I have done it, it has been successful. I have not had any issue. I will say that, and this is not for this podcast because it's not video game related. I will never use U-Haul again after this experience. Larry, how you make enemies?
I don't make it. They make enemies of me, but yes, I understand what you're talking about.
Yes, U-Haul is now my enemy.
Well, let me throw out the new U-Haul commercial. Alrighty.
Yes, absolutely. Please do that. Never again will I go anywhere near a U-Haul. So, but that's not a story for this podcast. I will just say that that is something that I'm still fuming over.
Fair enough.
So,
fates have been tempted.
Yeah, fates have been tempted. But the most important thing is obviously that you pack everything as safely as you possibly can, in hopes that it gets there safely. I am hoping that my stuff, which is on the way to my new location, that it will arrive safely and everything will be fine. That is still to be determined.
I guess heavy labeling is a big deal.
Labeling
just label all those boxes.
It's like I label every bin. Whenever you move, you should label everything. But
I was gonna say with games, do you keep the wires with the systems for those that are loose? You don't have the original boxes, or do you have a bin of systems, a bin of wires, and a bin of games?
So I keep the wires with the system just so I don't confuse any of them. Can some of them
fair enough?
Yeah, some of them I have third party plugs and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that I'm putting them with the right ones because you get the voltage mixed up and you blow a system. So
yeah, I'm sure I got a PS3 wire and an Xbox somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. so I do that. I do that just to be safe. The games all stay together. And I'm not going to say that they stay all my NES ones are together and all my SNES ones together because depending on the size of the bin, you can obviously oh, look, I can fit a few Super Nintendo games in this bin, and I can fit a few Genesis games in this bin. So they get mixed up in travel, but of course that's really not the important thing. The important thing is that everything is packed safely and arrives safely, which I am currently very worried about for my stuff.
Okay, let's go live to wherever the stuff is now. All right, well,
if I
good
could
luck.
Have a drone follow it across the country, I would.
And knocking on wood here. for you. We'll see what happens. All right, so that would be an editorial that you can pay extra for to hear Anthony's rant on that part.
Yeah. Coming soon.
All right, and then we got we got one final email here, actually also from Nathan, who disagreed with me on Breath of the Wild, and now he dares ask me a question, in my opinion. He writes, "Hey Larry, I remember you." I remember you talking a while ago about having a hard time finding splitter that works, HDMI splitters to be exact. I'm in the same boat. Did you ever manage to find any? If so, please let me know. Thanks. So Nathan, and notoriously, as we've talked about, and as I've talked about in the last 5 years, trying to find an HDMI splitter has been like trying to find the lost city of gold. I have not found the right one. I kind of wanted to use a Last Crusade, Indiana Jones Last Crusade reference, but I couldn't think of it quick enough.
You chose poorly.
He was a poor carpenter. It begins. Wait, what was it? It begins with an I. Wait, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah, Jehovah.
Yeah, begins with an I. So I have yet to find a proper splitter, and before I realized how easy it was to return stuff to Amazon, it would go from the Amazon facility, probably somewhere in Queens, right, to my house on Long Island, to my television for about 30 minutes, and then straight to the bin and out to whatever landfill, either on Staten Island or wherever the landfills for Long Island go.
That's because returning things is too much trouble for you.
No, I didn't. I thought it would be, and not realizing that Amazon actually makes returns very easy. Sometimes they just give you the money back, and you don't have to send anything back. It's wild.
Yep. That's great.
So my biggest problem with the splitters right now, my problem with splitters is quantity. As far as I can't find, or I couldn't find a splitter with enough inputs. Like normally they're like 3, 4, maybe 5 inputs to one output, or one input to 23 outputs or whatever. It's weird. So I was never find the right one. And then even then, my biggest issue was always the auto switch. The systems, because of the power, always auto switched it to a different system in the middle of gameplay because of the way the power is and the feed and everything. So that was my biggest problem. The PS4 also gave me issues with actual displaying. Like I couldn't actually get the PS4 to work with a splitter. So fast forward now, I got a new television, right? And this is before my old TV. Of the 4 inputs, 2 of them were 4K for some reason. And everything I had was 4K, so I was trying to, that's what it was. I was trying to split 4K stuff. Now, my new TV still has 4 inputs, but all 4 are 4K. So that makes it a little bit easier. Also, the TV comes with Apple TV installed in it, so I don't need a separate Apple TV 4K. Good friend of ours, Rob, from Staten Island, ended up with that. So now what I've been looking for, which I ordered, is an HDMI splitter, but for like the old systems. The 2 analogs that I have, a PS1, PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, the VCS, Dreamcast, and Saturn. So all of those. Okay. And they don't really give a lot of power, so I'm not too worried about auto switching. And I ordered a 16 splitter. A 16 in 1 out splitter.
That size-wise, that thing's got to be huge.
Oh, I don't know where I'm going to put it. But I ordered it. And
did you look at the dimensions when you ordered it?
Why would I? So analog, Sega, Xbox, PlayStation. I can never get my hand to go.
What's wrong with that thing?
PlayStation. I don't know. It's like this. I don't know. It's like fuse. I can I can do this, but I can't do this. So I end up doing this or the European way.
Do you ever
analog, Sega, PlayStation?
Hold the pinky down.
No, I do. No, it's fine. Oh, you just hear a crack. I can't. It just won't go up on its own.
Use your thumb to hold the pinky down.
No. Oh no. That but I'm trying to show 4.
Oh, you're trying to show.
When you count.
Then use your thumb to hold.
Wait a minute. You've never gone 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3.
That's not 4.
4,
You better just do this.
3.5, or a quarter. I can't get it down. I can't get this
Can
one
you do
to
this?
fit up.
Keep your ring finger down and put your pinky up.
No, I can do that. There's nothing physically wrong with the. Well, I might have cracked
No.
years ago. All right.
There's something physically wrong with that finger.
In college, I punched a cement wall because I was very mad at something. Shocking. And I'm pretty sure I have a hairline fracture in this fist for the last 20-something years. Because every now and again, if I make a fist... No, God, why would I? So every time I go to make a fist, every once in a while, I get like the shooting pain through it. But I'm pretty sure that's why I can't do that.
Okay, so 1, 2,
and that's
3,
the God honest
5.
truth. And,
You're not allowed to say 4 anymore.
4, 3. Anyway, I got at least 10 other systems to hook up to this television because PS4, Xbox, and Switch all have their own dedicated inputs.
Right.
And then I'm getting the Intellivision Amico. I'm going to eventually get 2 more analog systems. So I need to future prep this thing. So I figure 16 inputs should be enough. It won't be.
No, it won't be.
And Nathan, I just ordered the splitter actually before we started recording. So I'll let you know when I get it, which should be this week. So the following week, I'll give you an update, and I'll let you know what landfill it ends up in.
Next week's podcast, we're going to hear what landfill Larry sent that HDMI splitter to.
Basically. So.
All right, well, best of luck with that.
But I'm still looking. I can't believe HDMIs are so difficult. But in any event.
I never have a problem with an HDMI splitter doing an auto switch because it's not that hard to just switch it to what you want.
No. I do, but then it ends up switching it back, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's just
on?
A lot of these consoles sleep. That's the problem.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, when you turn the console on to play, that's when you switch the HDMI.
No. I'm aware of that,
and it should stay on the active console.
Not if a stronger system ends up taking over the port. That's what I'm saying.
Then you shut down the other systems. You don't.
I don't know what to tell you. It's been an issue this whole time. Plus, like I said, PS4, at the time, I was trying to hook up my newer systems, and the PS4 wasn't running properly. It's something to do with the PS4. Next
week's unpopular opinion. Larry doesn't know how to work HDMI.
That is as far as incorrect as possible, but be that as it may, 5th anniversary, last show. So that's all I got to say.
It was a good run.
But in any event, I'll let you know next week, Nathan, how it goes. You'll probably hear my head explode.
My nice little tube TV back there.
That's what I need, and whatever system that's supposed to be. I guess a Nintendo. All right. You know what? It's our anniversary, but I think there's some birthdays as well to talk about. Let's try and trek on here.
Yeah, we got a couple of quick ones, and these are retro birthdays from their release in Japan, which in all honesty, like to me, that's the real release of a game because that's when it first comes out.
Nowadays, yes. 15 years ago, maybe not, but nowadays, yeah.
But nowadays, it's like, you don't really look at when it came out in the U.S. because it always comes out a little bit later.
Well, and the world is a lot smaller now.
And the world is a lot smaller. We're shrinking.
We sure are.
So we've got 2 retro birthdays. One of them Larry can probably speak to more than I can.
Oh, here we go.
And so we'll start with that one first. So celebrating its 20th retro birthday, released on July 21st, 2001 for the Game Boy Advance, Mario Kart Super Circuit.
Oh, yes. Great game. First handheld Mario Kart game. Mm-hmm. And, the Game Boy Advance was basically a Super Nintendo in your hand. Yeah. And Super Circuit, to this day, a lot of the courses, I think even in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a couple of them are from the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
And to be able to play that game on the road, ironically, playing a racing game, great game, great graphics, great designs. I can't remember off the top of my head like which characters maybe debuted in the series in that one.
I do not know that.
Also, unfortunately, I really didn't play with the Game Boy Advance, not until the DS and the 3DS because of their wireless capability. I never really played multiplayer Game Boy games. And I knew a lot of people who had other Game Boys. We just never had the wire, or there wasn't enough of us who had, because everyone had to have a copy of the game.
Right.
But as a solo venture, Super Circuit, phenomenal. I believe it's available on Wii U. I want to say yes through the Virtual Console. Again, that is an absolute must buy, especially if you're into the Super Circuit, the Mario Kart series, and that eventually leading into like Mario Kart 7, which was on the 3DS. So definitely great game. And what does he say? 20th?
20 years.
Right? Yeah, 20th,
old.
2001. Yep. Game well worth it. Still stands the test of time.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for that. And I'm looking to see if there was somebody who was new.
I
don't think there was.
You can talk about I'm going to look it up real quick.
Yeah, because the characters in the game.
You check out the other one.
Well, here, I'll make it easy. The characters in the game, I believe, were all from actually the Mario Kart or Mario Kart 64. So it was Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Wario, and Bowser. It doesn't look like they really ventured out.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Yeah, looking at they really didn't. But which is fine.
Which is fine, because it was the first one on the
still,
Game Boy Advance. So that's all.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that is our retro birthday for that one. Our other retro birthday probably leans more towards me, even though I still haven't played this game and I've owned it for a very long time. We are also celebrating the 20th retro birthday. It released on, where is the date here? July 19th, 2001. I'm talking about one of the best RPG franchises of all time. Final Fantasy X is 20 years old.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, released on the PlayStation 2 way back when. And
I never played it.
I've never played it, and I know it was one of the very few Final Fantasy games to get a sequel, because there's Final Fantasy X2.
Direct sequel.
Yeah, there was a direct sequel to Final Fantasy X because it was so well liked. And I remember playing the opening of it, because you're playing like this, like, I don't know how to explain it. Some dodgeball-y kind of game, but you're kind of flying through the air.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, I remember playing through the opening. And then unfortunately, like, I just kind of didn't go back, and it wasn't because I didn't like it. It's just because I wanted to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, ooh, I have to get back to this. And then something else caught my attention.
Did you buy it, or was it like a demo?
No, I bought it.
Oh, okay.
But I bought it, like, this was years later. I didn't buy it when it first came out.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
So, but I do remember my cousin Michael, raved about 10. He's like, you have to play 10. You have to play 10. It's awesome. And I, sadly, 20 years later, have not. So, sorry, Michael. I promise I'll get around to it.
Well, it's definitely been re-released a few times, so that's good. Yeah. Makes it easier. Yep.
Yeah. So you can grab it on other systems now, I want to say. So.
It can Switch on everything. Yeah.
So keep an eye out for Final Fantasy X if you haven't played it now that it is 20 years old. So happy retro birthday to that.
Wow.
And then our last retro birthday for this week's episode is a very special retro birthday, as we've discussed already. We are celebrating our 5th retro birthday as a weekly podcast.
Absolutely. And 5 years. And like Anthony said in the beginning, kind of sort of a little bit more than 5 years, but as a regular series,
weekly podcast. We
5 years
every week for 5 years.
Yeah.
And if you don't know Larry by now after 5 years,
oh man,
dealing with him weekly.
Wow.
It's quite the challenge. And is that an unpopular opinion?
I think you were the one who approached me. I'm pretty sure you approached me.
And I haven't
but in any event,
and I haven't been able to
5 years. 5 years. Doing what I personally, right now I'm personally speaking, I love podcasting. I love doing podcasting. Mm-hmm. I started doing it a couple years before this. That's how it all came about. I was doing my own podcast every now and again. Wasn't even doing anything regularly. Well, kind of semi-regularly. More of the same Wrestle World, Pop Culture Connection. These are all totally defunct shows I still have the episodes for. Actually, on my YouTube page, More365, you can go check out a lot of the old stuff because most of it all went on YouTube as audio.
Yeah.
And then Ant had his first time moving back to New York. He we got together a couple times, and obviously I told him about the podcast, and I had him on originally. Just I think it was when we went to the festival, right? When we went to the Renaissance Festival, I think it was the first time you and I got together
Yes, we
on
went
a
to the Emmys
podcast.
there.
Period, not gaming related.
Mhm.
So,
I do remember that.
so we did that. Had a fun time. Well, Ant had a fun time. Well, so did I. But that was like Anthony's first experience with it. And then the next time we got together, we talked about video games. And then that's when Ant's like, "Hey, look, why don't we maybe try and do this regularly? Talk about something that we both enjoy." And I was like, "Hey, let's do it."
Yeah, and the rest is history. Here we are.
Que sera, sera.
Yeah, and it's been a great 5 years. A lot of laughs, a lot of reminiscing. If anything, this is probably saving me from Alzheimer's. So
No, honestly, probably because we're working that memory. I can blame the podcast for putting me into crippling debt with all the games. Well, I guess I can blame the podcast and Game On. With all the games I've picked up, because now I've gone above and beyond just trying to buy back the stuff I used to own that I ended up losing in Sandy. Because now, wait, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Yeah, so we started after Sandy, yeah. So when we started the podcast, it was all memories.
Yeah.
Right?
Really.
Well, you had your stuff. I definitely did not have mine.
I still had my stuff, but I didn't have all of my stuff from when I was younger because, again, when Funko Land came around, it became a thing to trade stuff in. So I traded a lot of my old stuff in. So it really was and
was fine.
Which was fine. And then at some point I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing that. And then I went back and started recollecting what I had traded away. So by the time we started this podcast, it's like I was, I had a healthy collection of systems and games. Obviously, that has grown exponentially over the last 5 years. But I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't. It's been a good run.
No, look, I get all joking aside. I know he gives me grief every week, but me and Anthony known each other. God, since what, 94, right? I was a freshman.
Yeah,
you were a junior.
94. We are celebrating like our
94, 95.
It's like our 27th retro birthday.
Something like that. Yeah, with us as friends. And, it all started over video games. And, video games and wrestling, but video games. Almost getting mugged and having all my games stolen on the way back from his house for the first time. And
you chose to walk home. Back when walking home was still allowed.
Honestly, I was able to do. I could have taken the bus, but me and my buddy were like, let's just walk home. What the heck? I was actually in somewhat normal shape. Yeah, well, he just took a watch. That's all, a couple bucks. Yeah. But the backpack full of Super Nintendo games were safe.
Thankfully.
But with the podcast, I was gonna say with the podcast, some fun memories of the podcast. First of all, I'll just mention discovering Game On. I'm going to give a shout out to them big time because they have been, there's a lot of game stores that have, kind of helped us out without knowing they've helped us out. But me personally, Game On, and I became friends with Tristan, Jay, and a lot of the guys and gals that have come through there and a lot of the customers. And my love originally was because of the podcast, kind of just looking for stuff. But now it's, like we've talked about, like maybe next time Anthony's in town, we might actually do something from Game On, awesome. With the podcast. So, totally. And Tristan already was like, hey, good to go. Another fun memory was and we've had friends on throughout the years, but like our actual only legitimate guest, Dr. Anthony Bean, talking about Zelda. So that was an interesting one. Me having to go up against a PhD, and I think someone who started working on a PhD or a couple of masters. I forget what you have.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're challenged every week.
I know. Listen, that episode, I'm like, I'm out. I'm tapping out. Anthony's coming up with these great questions. I'm like, so which controller was your favorite Zelda? Is what it is. But of course, the Virtual Boy being destroyed. Which I still own and I still have the pieces to. Will never. I can forget my own name, but I'll never forget that moment of that Virtual Boy being destroyed.
I know that I have to say, definitely a highlight or low light of the series of the show for sure. Um, I would say it pained me to do it, but the joy on my face in that clip really kind of just shines through. So I can't even lie.
Mm.
But yes, that I remember starting the podcast and like sitting on your couch and doing the first one. And I think the first one was like all of like 15 minutes.
Oh
And
yeah, because I was doing
the first ones we did were short. They were like 20 minutes or less.
totally.
We would talk about a quick topic and we'd be done.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun. Frankie, having our good friend Frankie on the show several times, definitely
Frankie
was really fun. Mostly because not just because he's also avid gamer, a big fan of our show, and an amazing friend, but never knowing when we were gonna have to bleep him.
No, he has
was
no
always
filter.
fun.
Good Lord.
And that's what I love about it. I really love it. Because all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, we'll bleep that out. Oh, we'll bleep
I had
that
to
out.
bleep
Okay.
him on an uncensored show. So go figure that one out. But
yeah, so
in any event,
so just having Frankie on the show, and again, like to me, a lot of the memories I like, aside from obviously doing this with you, a lot of the great memories I have are just the friends we have on the show. You know what I mean? Like, and these are friends going all the way back to childhood. Our friend Anthony, who I've been friends with since kindergarten. He's popped up on the show once or twice. My friend Rich, who I went to grammar school with, also I've known that long, and his wife Trish. Having them on the show, having our new buddy Jack on the show to tech up the place.
Yep.
And to shame you. With all
and now they're
you waste your money on.
I'm gonna get him to make me a mister. And now they're my friends, and like I've been introduced to these wonderful people through you, so that's awesome too. But like what else? Some good, like, you think, like, what are some of the great like moments? Is there a moment or two or anything like that?
Well, hearing your rants about limited run games was always fun, because anything that I was able to needle you on was always entertaining to me. Because again, it's just like it's just part of the show. It's part of our banter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course. I know. I never mentioned it outside of the show. Yeah, no.
No, of course not. I enjoy those. I enjoy, even thinking back to like, just the random live streams we would do, the giveaways that people would take part of, were always fun. Like we gave away, an NES Mini at one point, which was kind of awesome.
We did give away an NES Mini. We did, when they were hard to find.
When they were hard to find, we gave one away, which was really cool. Just like it's really hard to narrow down specific ones, because you actually pointed out like a few, like the Virtual Boy War that we went through for like a year was awesome. The annual challenges that we put up, even though like the last one we did is kind of DOA.
Yeah, that one we have to kickstart it in 2022 for something else.
I think we should. I think maybe we should call it on that one, because I've won again.
No, we're not doing it like that. If we're calling it, then it's a draw.
I think we can call that one a draw and move on. Yes, I think it's fine. Even though I did finish more games than you did.
Watch now, I start beating everything.
Yeah, it was like a paltry like 10 or whatever it was. But yeah, no, it's been overall a very fun ride. And as you can see, my background today is actually the original graphic I drew for the website. Not drew, but created for the website. My graphic skills are absolutely subpar.
Hey, listen, your Bohemian Rhapsody is gorgeous.
Yes, from Mario Paint 20, 30 years ago. At some point, I will track that down and put it on our page. And then it'll promptly get pulled because of licensing rights. So,
yeah, we'll have to put something else. Me and you will have to sing it. I think that'll be okay.
I wonder if that would work. Yeah. But anyway, so that's why I put the graphic up, just to, old time's sake, 5 years. I'm going to pull the graphic down because I do want to share something with you. And I know, like, how you can kind of lose images and stuff like that. But so I'm going to turn this off, because to celebrate our
Shinjiro Miyamoto is behind him, tied up and gagged.
That's correct. No, to celebrate our 5th anniversary, I got you a little something.
Oh, what?
And I
didn't know we were doing this.
I can thank the guys at Lost Levels Video Game Shop and Arcade, which is a new place that I found in Fullerton, California. Really cool place to get a really nice shop set up, and in the back they do have an arcade with some games that you can play.
Very nice.
So, which is really cool.
Very
hard
cool.
to see images, but
Yeah, the focus that's all right.
yeah, they're a little blurry. But anyway, Lost Levels in Fullerton, California. If you happen to be in the area, you should definitely check them out. But Larry, I thought I would get you something a little special, and I know how big of a fan you are of Castlevania, and no, it is not something from Castlevania 2.
Oh, good.
But I got you a really cool Castlevania shadow box.
Oh my God!
From Pixel Frames.
That is awesome.
And I went with the Grim Reaper one because it looked cooler than the Dracula one they had. So,
yeah, no, definitely.
So I know there's some.
No, that's all right. Yeah, we got it.
You see it that way.
Oh my God!
So
I feel like such a heel. Thank you.
You are a heel. So there you go.
I didn't think we were doing this, like exchanging stuff.
I was gonna try and mail it to you, but my week has been taken up with distractions, mostly.
Fair enough.
And we won't get into that.
Well, I appreciate that truly.
So
Thank you.
Happy 5th anniversary, Larry.
Oh, all right. I gotta go shopping now.
Yeah, I need to go shopping. But
thank you.
I will mail that to you.
Awesome. I like that. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I got you nothing. So there you go.
I know.
Happy anniversary.
Well, basically, I bought you that just to make you feel like this.
No, I did. Like I said, I truly feel like we're gonna have a discussion afterwards. But no, thank you. And I think the last part to thank is, we've broadcasted from Barcade in Brooklyn. We've broadcasted from the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo a couple of times, a few times actually. I was gonna say Buffalo Wild Wings we've done, and I know we've done another one live somewhere. I can't remember where it was. We did the well, you weren't there for this one, but there was Aviation out in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Aviator Field did a wonderful convention. Actually, met some people there. I always get his letters mixed up. JHA Collectibles, or now that I mention it, I gotta find them. What
about is it BGM Gaming? Who's the one who's always correcting you on the show?
First of all, JHA Collectibles.
Okay.
I met there. Actually picked up a copy in box of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Whoa, what? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And then funny. We don't have to go into details, but funny enough, you actually know his girlfriend. So you worked with her.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So small world.
Very small world in that sense.
CBM_gaming.
There you go.
Yes. No. Definitely between him and Jake Jack. And everyone who, with the mods and everything, we've met some great people. Josh and Brandon from Victims and Villains,
of course, can't forget them.
And next week we're gonna have some other people on the show. We'll talk about a little later. But bottom line, with those remote streams, I love doing those remote ones. I want to even real quick, and then we'll move on. I remember. One of the most fondest memories was me doing some recordings. I don't remember if you did them as well, but documenting when the Super NES Mini went on sale, and I showed up to Best Buy at midnight and spent the entire night and kind of every hour checking in and interviewing some people there who were there from like 8 p.m. the night before or something like that. And we both ended up picking up like 12 systems or something like that. Yeah, it was very weird.
I think I went at like 4:30 in the morning with somebody I worked with, and we literally picked up one at Best Buy, and then we looked across the way. Or was it Walmart? Whatever it was. Like we picked one up, and then we looked across the way. We looked across the way at Best Buy because it was in the same strip mall, and we're like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And there was no line, and they were like, "Yeah, do you want one?" I'm like, "Sure." We wound up like getting like 6 each.
I got one at Best Buy. A bunch of us ran over to Target, got one. I ordered 2 online while I was waiting there. That was a long night, but a fun night.
I forgot about the 2 online that I ordered too.
Long night, but a fun night. I think those are still up somewhere too.
It was a fun night. It definitely was a fun night. And then, of course, like you just reminded me of one of the best live streams we ever did was from Game On when I went live while you were finishing Kung Fu.
So funny story. Yes. So
except you did finish Kung Fu.
No, I did. I if you go back and watch, I never beat Kung Fu, so I'm at Game On playing Kung Fu on the NES, and I beat Mr. X, and I'm like, oh, I win. but I completely forgot that you had to complete the level. You had to walk to the
You have to
stairs
walk
to complete the level,
Yes.
and I didn't complete it. So a couple weeks ago, my cousin comes over with my godson and his little brother. My godson's 10, his little brother's 7, 8 now, or 12. I don't know how old he is. Anyway, so they watched some of the videos, and they kept asking me, "What's that game you hate? I want to play that game you hate." And I'm like, "I don't know which one you're talking about. What are you talking?" And they're like, the one you couldn't finish. I was like, "What?" The karate one. And I'm like, "How did you remember that from like a couple of years ago?" I'm like, he's like, and my cousin's like, "They watch your videos." And so they're like, "We want to play it." And I'm like, "Okay."
You're like a celebrity.
I hope so to them, but it was just pretty funny that they remember that. So yeah, awesome. Lots of memories, more to come, and
a lot more to come from a different location eventually.
Yes, we'll see.
Hopefully, I get move into my new apartment,
and hopefully, I'll get my podcasting area back in a couple months. So, which would be nice.
Setting mine up in my new place now.
There you go. And with that being said, and I guess we can get ready to wrap this up. I think we got some things here. I know I got something.
You got and I got actually something significant. There's a
story
with it too, so you have to start.
All right, I'll start with this. Contra, favorite series of all time. I've definitely mentioned this before. The Contra version on this Famicom plays the same as our version, but like the Famicom has cutscenes. The boards are animated. It's actually pretty cool. So there was like a variant, if you want to call it that. But there's another variant of Contra that was out there over in Europe. Germany had a wacky law that prevented violence in video games. So when Contra was released over in Europe, they renamed it Probotector.
Yes.
And you can actually play this version on the Contra collection on the Switch, the Xbox, and the PlayStation. They replaced... do I have... Can you see them in the shot? I don't know if you can see them in the shot. You can't, because I got the pop vinyls of Contra. Oh, here they are. Bill and Lance. So they replaced Bill and Lance, awesome pop vinyls, by the way, with a couple of robots in this game. And it just so happens that now I finally had my hands on a boxed version of Probotector. And I am very happy about this.
Very nice.
Again, it's a European version, PAL version, so it'll probably run a little weird on the NES. The card itself, amazing.
Wow.
Looks gorgeous.
That's an excellent shape.
And I would like to thank Martin Finch, who decided to write his name way back when on the box.
Thank you, Martin Finch, for...
But that's okay.
Hey, you should thank Martin Finch because he really took care of that.
He sure did. So I'm very happy to say I now own a box copy of Probotector on the NES.
Congratulations on that.
So very cool. And that's really all I really could have afforded this week.
Normally I'm not the person to say that I went shopping.
Yeah.
But
you bought 3 castles, so
I bought 3 castles and a pixel frame thing for you. So
you did.
What else more can I buy? Right, Link?
What? Oh, you bought another cat. Okay.
He wants some shoulder love.
He does. Look at him. He's gonna fall asleep, folks. That's what he does.
He does. This is what he does now. He just kind of sleeps on my shoulder.
Look at that. I do not want to be filmed. I did not sign an agreement.
I do not want to be filmed. I just want to sleep here. But anyway, you're gonna have to go away because I'm gonna have to fix stuff up. So here is the story. I do not know if you remember this, but a year ago, when the PlayStation 5 was first coming out, I had mentioned on the show that, let me rewind. I had mentioned on the show about around that time that I had secured another console. And
oh yeah, I forgot about this.
And I told you that I would eventually release said information and show the console.
Oh, thank God I forgot about it. Okay.
Well, everybody forgot about it because it's been almost a year. So here's what happened. So when the PlayStation 5 pre-orders went on sale, I picked one up for myself. My friend Mike who I game with on the PS4, he couldn't get his hands on the pre-order, and so after I got my pre-order, I was trying to get another one because we were both doing it at the same time, and he wasn't able to get it, but I did. So I said, dude, I was like, I got your pre-order, you're set. I was like, just send me the money. And he's like, oh, he's like, he's like, instead, so he's like, hey, he's like, you know what, instead of sending you the money, I have a console that I was going to put up on eBay. He's like,
barter system. Okay.
I go, what if we barter? I will give you this console, and then you buy the PlayStation 5. So I told him deal. I was like, because the console that he had, value wise, it's probably close. I would think it's probably close. Considering. So he was going to mail it to me in Florida because I was in Florida at the time. But then he's like, you know what? He's like, I'm not going to mail it. Instead, I will come visit you when the pandemic's over and all that stuff.
Okay.
Obviously, the pandemic didn't end until I really got back.
This is all then. Okay, I got you. Yeah, when we originally had 2 weeks.
Right, exactly. So time goes by. I moved back. Now I moved back to LA.
Yeah.
Before everything got cleared up for travel, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm back here. So he's like, well, since you're here, and he's already had his PlayStation 5, obviously, since launch. Because
he lives in LA.
He lives in LA. Yes.
Okay.
So we went out to dinner last weekend. We actually Lost Levels was where we went.
Oh, okay, cool.
There was a group of us, Mike included. We went to Lost Levels, and then we went to an arcade after that called Nickel or something like that. So
arcade hopping, I like it.
Yeah. So went there.
Nickel. I love that name for an arcade.
Yeah, and then we went. I know. And then we went to dinner, and then after dinner, he's like, I have something for you, and I'm like, what? He's like, brings out a box, and he's like, remember this? And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I completely forgot. So I opened it up and everything. I was really excited. But now, I'm very proud to announce that I officially have another retro console in my collection.
Oh boy.
And I'm going to share it with you if Link would not sit on it.
Make sure no one takes it.
Yeah. So
and right now it sounds like it might be the only system you can play.
It might be at the moment. Bastards. I would like to say, and I would also like to say before I reveal it, is that this is a console in which I have never played before. Not a single game, not even through ROMs or anything. Never played this one before. Ready?
I can't even venture to guess. It's got to be something old. Yeah.
It's definitely something old because it is.
Yeah, no, yeah.
An Atari Jaguar.
Oh my God. In my head, I'm going, I wonder if it's a Jaguar, but why would anyone want a Jaguar? But that is a Jaguar.
I got myself an Atari Jaguar.
Nice.
So
nice. I really like it.
Yes,
I do like it.
Very cool. I have not hooked it up yet. I'm waiting to get to my new place before I start doing all that.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
fair enough.
Atari Jaguar, very nice. And
that looks great.
I don't know if you remember the Atari Jaguar controller, but
God, do I look at that monster.
Look at this thing. Because if you remember,
there's overlays on it, right?
Well, yeah, they went with that whole Intellivision type of setup where you overlay for the game that you're playing.
There you go. Yeah.
You put you put the piece in. And then obviously it's all extra buttons.
Oh, there it goes.
So
look at that. That is awesome. That is awesome. It's funny too, man. I was at Game On the other day and he has in box Jaguar. I'm like, maybe next time if no one buys it. But that's cool. Any games?
Any games? Oh.
But wait, there's more. I was gonna say maybe the Jaguar itself isn't.
Really quickly, he threw in randomly, and I just thought this was funny. Not Jaguar related, but
compared to last week's story, remember you made that story last week? Someone Funstock is putting out new re-releasing Jaguar games.
So it was fitting that's when I picked this up.
Yeah.
He also found this and just threw it in. It is a Super Mario Galaxy free commemorative launch coin.
Oh, so that's awesome.
He's like, oh, I just found this. He's like, you can have it. So
I'm jealous. I collect coins like that. That is awesome.
There's the certificate of authenticity.
Oh, that is cool.
So I thought that was
very cool. Yep.
And again, just a random ad. So
no, that is awesome. I like that.
Hold on. Let me,
there we go. And you broke it.
Get back in there. Okay. So game wise, now I'm not gonna lie. I pretty much don't know most of these games. So
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, so anybody watching or listening, if you know Atari Jaguar games, you can probably tell me better.
A Jaguar.
But the first one I have here is called Ruiner Pinball.
Okay, I believe that's a pinball game.
I believe it's a pinball game as well, since it's called Ruiner Pinball. I'm gonna take your word for it.
The controllers are so weird. I mean, their games are so weird looking too. They have that handle up on top.
Yeah. And then here's another game called Raiden, not Mortal Kombat related. It's called Raiden.
Raid. If that's the Raiden I'm thinking of, that looks like that is a shoot 'em up.
I believe
if that's the Raiden I'm thinking of.
That is correct.
Great series. Great series.
So those are the two games that I got. Plus
more.
Now we're gonna get into, because of course my friend Mike is super awesome. Now we're getting into games where he gave me original boxes.
Oh, wow.
Like Trevor McFur in the Crescent Galaxy.
What? Okay.
You are Trevor McFur.
I would look at that, boy. Yeah.
Exactly. So Trevor McFur in the Crescent Galaxy.
Yeah, they got some great platforming games.
This one you might know, because I think this might have come out on other systems, or at least I remember this one. Bubsy in Fractured Furry Tales.
Oh yeah. No, Bubsy series has been going for a while. Yeah.
Exactly. So
awesome.
The boxes are in great shape.
Yeah, they look it. Yeah.
And they do have whatchamacallit, the games and the instructions and everything like that.
I hope the games are in them.
Which is awesome.
All right, cool.
So another game called Hover Strike.
Okay.
Which again took advantage of the whole 64-bit 3D kind of thing. You know, it's like that
quote unquote
first-person-ish kind
very
of
cool
cockpit, which is really cool.
Very cool.
Okay. This one looks interesting because of the cover. Ultra Vortec. Not Vortex. Vortec, I believe. But it's got some demon-y kind of thing going on.
That looks creepy.
And again,
is it a fighter?
It's a fighter.
Okay.
So I think you're fighting as like demons and stuff, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very cool. Not Lord Zed there for a second.
Super Burnout for the Jaguar.
Okay, very cool.
So nice motorcycle.
Nice.
Then we have, and I remember this game too. It's one of those like puzzly kind of board game thingies. Zoop.
Oh, I had Zoop. Zoop, I think, was like the last PlayStation game I bought.
Yeah, Zoop.
Yeah, it's a fun puzzle.
PlayStation.
Yep,
and
it's a fun puzzle.
Zoop, America's largest killer of time.
I can see that.
Yeah. Oh, interesting too. It says Atari and Viacom Multimedia.
Yeah, Viacom. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember that was like that time, like some weird companies were publishing games.
I have two more. So he really loaded me up here.
I like it. Wow. Oh, classic. I just started. It's funny too. I just started playing Tempest 3000. I got on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I forgot how good Tempest is.
Tempest for Jaguar.
Because also now I'm starting to learn how to play it.
Yeah. Last but not least, Wolfenstein 3D.
Nice.
Kill those Nazis.
Oh yeah. Look at that. There he is.
So,
yep.
And you can see over here.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games and an Atari Jaguar. Thank you very much, Mike. I am very happy with this collection.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When you just showed the system in my head, I'm like, I don't know if you got an even trade on that. But now with the games, I think you actually made out better. Actually, you did make out better.
I think I did.
Absolutely.
But again, that wasn't the point of it. So
no, of course not.
It was a trade with friends.
I'm just saying though.
And he did tell me. He's like, if you sell any of this stuff, I will kill you. To which I told him he does not have to worry about that because it's going in my collection.
So, absolutely.
Yes.
That is very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You're now a Jaguar owner.
I am, and I cannot wait to play it and say, glad I didn't buy it back then.
A Jaguar.
A Jaguar.
See, now you got to get a Jaguar CD.
Yes, that'll be next on the list.
I can't even imagine what those go for.
I don't know how much that costs.
Honestly.
$1.
Well, in any event. Very cool. I think the first time we really mentioned Jaguar big time.
Exactly.
I certainly don't have one.
I need to do a deep dive into these games.
I think you'll like Raiden. Raiden's really cool. I'm jealous about that one.
Yeah. Shoot 'em up.
All right.
Total
shoot 'em up.
I can get a Jaguar CD on eBay. Let's see. $5.50 for a loose one.
Oof.
$13.50 for a boxed one.
Yeah, no, you're good.
You know what? I think I'm fine.
I don't even remember the last good Jaguar CD game that's been out there. You're fine.
To my understanding, I believe they only released 12 games on the CD.
Yeah,
Mist was one of them.
Yeah, it didn't hold up too well.
No. So
alrighty.
Anyway, I am very happy
good stuff.
With my collection. So thank you, Mike.
Good stuff. No, totally good stuff. I'm very jealous. And with that, for the 240th episode and the 5th anniversary, we're going to start to wrap things up. Before we finish up completely, just want to make a programming note. Next week for episode 241, friend of mine, a friend of the show, and a gentleman who very funny, will be on the show next week. My good friend Felix from Flexo Productions. You can find him on social media at Dominican Stone Cold. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. And he's very, very funny. He'll be on the show next week. We'll be, again, more reminiscent. What is that? Where are you at now?
I'm back.
Wasn't that the other? Weren't you there 2 weeks ago?
I was. And now
you went back to...
wait. I moved again.
What? Wait a minute. Do you have a green screen? Hold on. I don't think you're actually outside these places.
I don't know.
Oh, that's creepy. What? Weird. They're not drones. They're bats. What? All right, now just getting on. Before he puts up a picture he's not supposed to. Check out next week. Felix will be on Flexo Productions. Again, check him out. Flexo Productions on social media. Dominican Stone Cold. And where can they find us?
You guys can find us on Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, on Twitter at RetroGamersPod. You can watch us on YouTube and IGTV. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
Don't forget, if you have an unpopular opinion, send us a short video of what your unpopular opinion is and why you support your opinion on it, and we'll see what we have to say about it.
And if Larry supports your unpopular
again, as
opinion,
always, old joke.
As I say, if Larry supports your unpopular opinion, I will explain why you're wrong.
Dare you? Terrible. And I was just about to say something nice to you because of 5 years. Whatever, jerk. But no, in all honesty, I love doing the podcast. Obviously, speaking with you, getting the chance to do this with you, friendship lasting a long time, and obviously it would have anyway without the podcast. But this is definitely a fun time doing all this. So thank you for these 5 years, Ant, and five
thank
more
you
at
for
least.
5 years of putting up with me, because you've put up with quite a bit.
We both have.
Yes.
And folks, with that, we will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.